When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that isn't ready for this jelly, but it could go for some peanut butter.
Oh, I mean, you spread them both, just like my legs. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today we're going to talk about slings.
We're going to talk about slings. Why do you sound so hesitant about that, Mike?
I don't know. Like, I realized about halfway through my research for this episode that, like, I was doing some pretty tortured segues. So we'll see.
I'll keep us on track. See, if you don't say that it's a tortured segue and just say it, then people won't think about it.
But that's how I deal with my anxiety, Kyle. I say them out loud with my mouth hole.
But then you reinforce that amongst our listeners when you could just sound natural and be like, and naturally, of course, with slings, I'm going to be talking about whatever weird thing you're going to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Just make it sound natural.
No, I wasn't on board, but now that you're talking about lying to them by omission, I'm
it's
back
not
in.
Lying to pretend to like, it's not lying by saying like, okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is X. You don't have to state I am making an uncomfortable transition into X.
We'll see. I don't know. I never know what I'm going to say. So.
Okay. That's the joy of podcasting with Mike Johnson.
Yeah, exactly right. You're welcome. You've been doing it for 8 years now.
Yeah. I guess it's my fault for not knowing any better.
It is. It is definitely. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
We have 100 words this week.
We do have 100 words.
Yeah, at a certain level of Patreon, if you send in 100 words, I will read them with my mouth hole. It's on my face.
Right there.
Yep. And yeah.
Can you peg someone's mouth?
Sure. Why not?
Or is pegging only in the butt?
I don't think it's only in the butt, Kyle. I think that lesbians peg each other in the not their butt.
Oh, you can peg in the vagina?
So I think in the mouth, yeah. Now the real question is, if you try on a dildo with your throat, did you peg yourself? And I don't think you did. So
Anyway, we have 100 words.
Here we go. Are you in or around Cleveland, Ohio? Come to Painfully Emotional, a birthday benefit bonanza on Saturday, July 19th at Muse Gastropub. This drag show is a 30th birthday celebration for Ophelia Payne and a fundraiser for the ACLU Ohio. We get to have some fun and raise money to fight against the Orange Man and his minions. Want more info? Check out Ophelia on Facebook at facebook.com/I_am_Ophelia_Payne. And that's OPHELIA. And Payne is PAYNE. Or Instagram at Ophelia Payne 96. Spelled the same way that I just went over. If you want to donate to the show's fundraising total, you can find Ophelia's Venmo and Cash App in her profiles. Put ACLU in the description. Hope to see you there. Thanks, Gayish. Love you all. Ophelia Payne. One of our few known out drag queen listeners.
You say that as if we have several private listeners that like won't go public about the fact that they listen to us.
It can't be all of them. Like, I know that Donna Sugars listens from time to time, and I know that Ophelia Payne is the only Mama Ashley Rose. I know that Ophelia Payne is the only drag queen that we've had show up to a live show with her mug beat. I don't think because she wanted to, because she was headed somewhere after the show.
She had important things to do.
Thanks, Ophelia. I appreciate you, and good luck. We need all the money we can get to fight that son of a bitch.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the 100 words.
Thanks for using my hole. And Kyle.
Yeah.
I would like you to say a nice thing to me now, because I did not read the email.
Are you sure? Because you read the sign off.
I don't know if that counts as, I don't know. She said where the 100 words start. She didn't say where the 100 words end, and I didn't count.
That's the 100 words ends at hope to see you there.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's a space after it and then another space. It's like it's its own little paragraph. I give you no credit. I give you partial credit because you didn't read the intro.
I give you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Okay, well, fantastic. We also have a little bit of feedback. Hello, Gayish Pod. I love listening. This is the first time I'm writing in. I did want to provide a correction to your new segment about the court case Mahmoud v. Taylor. Though there were Christian families that were a part of the case, several of the lead plaintiffs were of different faiths, including Islam and Jewish. It is kind of pedantic, I know, but I trust you for news stories, and I just want to be fair to all parties. Thank you, Jack. And yep, you're absolutely right. Thank you for the correction. I do like to sum religious horse shit up by saying because Jesus, and this time I definitely led everyone to believe that that was the only kind of fuckery that was happening. Thanks for the correction.
Yeah, so I mean, we need to then also say fuck all religious parents, fuck Islamic parents, fuck Jewish parents, fuck everyone's parents.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck your religion, no matter which one it is.
Yeah.
In as much as it impacts my life.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, and now the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Kyle, usually I feel like the news is abrupt, and we had so much to do at the top of the episode. Like the news is, it's in here a little ways.
Yeah. So not only are you pointing out when you have anxiety about making a segue towards something, you're also pointing out when we do something right and well.
Yeah.
You're just pointing it all out today. Just airing our dirty laundry for everyone to see. We might as well be standing in front of them in our underwear.
I just have no internal filter. And news the first.
Great.
I love the advocates reporting sometimes. Former MTV Real World cast member and Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has announced a sweeping national initiative that could put rainbow-painted crosswalks and broader debates over how cities express identity and inclusion squarely in the federal spotlight. Basically, Secretary Duffy tried to claim as part of his Safe Roads letter last week that all quote-unquote distractions need to be eliminated from non-freeway arterial roads. Quote, roads are for safety, not political messages or artwork. And then he did concede that traffic fatalities declined by 4% under the Biden administration, but we need to do better, and that means getting rid of the rainbow crosswalks.
It's just not an issue. Like, I would love to see how many accidents were caused by rainbow crosswalks. Like, let's go look at the traffic reports, the accident reports, and see what the cause listed is and how many of them have listed rainbow crosswalk as the reason for it.
Yeah. Well, and even if they did cause accidents, I don't know, cause is such a strong word, right? Like, here's the thing. Most rainbow crosswalks I have seen are in like the busiest, gnarliest part of the city. Correlation causation sometimes is a problem. Yeah. So Lexington, Kentucky back in 2017 was ordered to remove their rainbow painted crosswalk. But the Department of Transportation has not provided examples of crashes linked to rainbow crosswalks and did not respond to the advocates' questions.
Because it's just another issue that's not actually an issue. It's just creating issues from nothing. And it distracts from like actually fixing whatever issues are going to reduce traffic accidents and fatalities.
Right. Yep. Everything's bad and you should feel bad today. Okay. News the second.
Yeah.
So, oh, good Lord, Kyle. I don't know if you followed any of this. It's really depressing.
Oh, no.
Sure Foundation Baptist Church in Indiana held a Pray the Gay Away event, and Stephen Falco gave a sermon at that event where he used a slur from the pulpit and preached that queer people should kill themselves or be murdered.
Jesus Christ.
This is according to TV station Wish TV. Quote, there's nothing good to be proud about being a faggot. You're so disgusting.
So why does he know what I tell myself in the mirror every day? How does he know this?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. And then of course said that I'm just preaching the word of God. Like that horrible, horrific life ending thing that I just said. It's not me. It's the big J-Dub upstairs or whatever.
Yeah. Jesus, notable human hater, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I just said J-Dub. I don't know why. Jesus. JC is what I was trying to say.
JC. Yeah, for sure.
Quote, the Bible is crystal clear that sodomites, homosexuals deserve the death penalty carried out by a government that actually cares about the law of God. We're not to take the law into our own hands.
I don't care about the law of God.
Yeah, well,
this is not a place ruled by the law of your God.
Well, and I think that what this person is saying is almost worse. It's that I really wish that the government would kill all of the gays for us.
Yeah, that's very true.
And we live in Handmaid's Tale, Kyle. Jesus fuck.
Yeah. Churches should not be getting tax exemptions. My tax money should not be going towards paying for that event.
Yeah. Agreed.
It should be going towards painting more rainbow crosswalks.
I agree. Absolutely. 100%. And maybe more episodes of The Real World.
Yeah, where's The Real World on the docket of important issues that we have coming up here?
Yeah, I know that we've joked about running the world before, Kyle, but I think that we really could. And I think that we would be good at it. And I think it would be fun. I
think before Trump, I never used to believe that I could. And now I think that I'd be great at it.
Oh,
because you apparently don't have to be too smart.
Yeah, well, you certainly couldn't be worse. News the last, there is a small glimmer of hope. So California officials say that they will not comply with President Dickbag Fuckface Asshole's order to keep trans athletes out of K through 12 school sports.
Yay.
So California officials say that they will not comply. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon gave the state 10 days beginning June 27th to sign on to an agreement, quote, to rescind any trans inclusionary guidelines and send cisgender female athletes who lost to a trans opponent personalized apologies.
Damn.
How about no?
Yeah, just nuh-uh.
And General Counsel Len Garfinkel wrote Monday today, quote, the California Department of Education respectfully disagrees with OCR's analysis, and it will not sign the proposed resolution agreement. And so I do think this is an important thing. Like, states do have power in this country, and the federal government is like obviously very, very powerful, and the things that they decide and do are very important. But we do have a long history now of the Supreme Court letting the states decide things, and a lot of those things still remain in place. For instance, if the Supreme Court overturns gay marriage, it's very unlikely that it's going to be, gay marriage is now illegal in the United States. They're going to say it's going back to the states.
Right.
And so the state that you live in, gay people, is very, very much going to matter as things at the federal level continue to decline. Sorry, everybody else in the world. I know that this is very America focused, but you can tell from my accent, that's where I'm from. So that's to be expected. Anyway, all that's to say, pressure your state leadership to do things. They're more likely to listen, more likely to actually protect you, or able to protect you against some of our worst fears. And it's worth leaning into that, I think.
Yeah, that's great advice. We rarely actually have actionable takeaways in our news segment. So it's nice to have something actionable that you can do.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's the news.
Speaking of something actionable, if you want to make a difference today, you can sign up for our Patreon. I want to thank the new Patreon members, Den C. Wonder what that C stands for. Maybe it stands for Cowabunga. Maybe your name is Den Cowabunga. And also thank you to Show.
Show?
I don't think there's too many. I mean, surely there are ways I can fuck it up because O can be pronounced 10 different ways in our language, but I don't know. Show. Yeah, just Show.
SH?
SHO.
Show. Isn't it the nickname for Showtime?
Maybe.
I think Queer as Folk was on Show.
Oh, well, from the network that brought you Queer as Folk. Thanks, Show. And thank you to everyone who supports us. If you want to use Mike's hole, if you want to peg Mike's hole, then, or if you want ad-free episodes a day early, if you want to support the show, if you want to join our Patreon happy hour, which is on August 5th at 6 p.m.
It's Tuesday. Don't fuck it up, everybody.
Yep. It's on Tuesday next month. July, August. Yes, that is next month. Go to patreon.com/gayish podcast to sign up.
Do it.
Do you want to talk about Slings?
I do want to talk about Slings, Kyle. And first, I really want to talk about why are we doing this? What did you want? This is you, right? You
I think
made us
so.
do this?
I kind of forget, but I think this might be me.
Okay.
Slings feel very gay to me. And this is something interesting that I asked of several people in the past week leading up to this episode is are slings gay to you? And I got some people being like, yes, they're absolutely associated with gay people. I only hear about it from gay people. Other people were like, I first heard about slings from straight couples. And of course, I'm talking about sex slings. I first heard about them from straight people. And then it was only later after I came out that I heard about gay people using them. So it's interesting what people have in mind as to what if sex slings are gay to them and how many people have used them. And then once someone started asking what's the point of slings, I started thinking what is the point of this? So I have a little bit more info on what the point of slings are, but I just think there's a lot. I think slings are common in the gay community. They're common in bathhouses, and I wanted to talk about them.
I mean, they're even decorations in bars sometimes, which I think is funny. Because I never expect them to be used, and then I see them being used, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's that kind of bar.
Are you talking about the Eagle?
Yeah, there's others, but yeah, the Eagle, and more than one Eagle has sex furniture in it.
Yeah. Sex furniture. What else falls under sex furniture other than slings? Like
a St. Andrew's cross, or like a stockade, or mostly BDSM equipment, but sex furniture was somebody was on I'm not going to talk about it, it's not in any of my segments, but there was this whole essay about sex furniture and how slings are just one example, one subcategory of that.
The biggest one, I would say.
I think so too. Yeah.
Well, to start off, we're going to talk more about our personal experiences with slings later, but I want to start off by talking about Urban Dictionary.
Okay, let's do it. Urban Dictionary, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yep. First is just the definition of the word sling. I wrote down 3 of the top definitions.
Okay.
And the first one is the act of selling drugs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't necessarily associate that with drugs, but I do associate it with selling. Like
slinging cocaine.
I paid for my associate's degree by slinging pizzas at the local shop or whatever.
I would think that would be throwing them up in the air.
I think it means selling. I think of it as selling. I don't know.
Yeah, that would make more sense given the definition that I just read. But yeah. The next one is a swing, which it's using the word in the definition, which is a big no-no. So this definition should use some cleaning up. But anyway.
I love how I'm the pedantic one until you are.
I can be pedantic about certain things.
You absolutely can.
Anyway, the definition of a sling is a sling. Sorry. I was wrong. The one time I was super pedantic, I was already wrong about it. Sling is defined as a swing. They're defining it with a different word. Okay. A swing used for sexual pleasure, more than likely hung from the ceiling with chains.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true.
If it's not hung from the ceiling with chains, but you do use it for sexual pleasure, does that count? And will you get kicked off of the playground?
Use swings for sexual pleasure late at night when no one else is around, and especially no children.
And no lights. Like if they've got those big field floodlights, don't do it. Don't do it there.
Yeah, totally. Lastly, sling is a wide strap with rings at the end used to carry baby children close to the adult body.
I did see this meaning floating around of a baby sling, which I'm disturbed by that phrase now.
I also saw this when doing research, like, do straight people use slings, and got this as a result. And I was like, damn it, I don't mean this. I don't care if straight adult men use, like, carry around babies. That's not what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
The next definition is purple-headed yogurt slinger.
Okay. Yeah.
This referring to an erection, due to the fact that an erect penis has a purple-like head and that it slings a yogurt-like substance.
Okay.
This term is used in the movie Varsity Blues.
Okay. I think if you're jizzing yogurt, you should see a doctor. It is not yogurt-like. My yogurt, no yogurt I eat is like what cum looks like.
I mean, it's more like yogurt than it is like an elephant. Like, so if it's a better representation than a lot of things.
Touché. Okay. All right. I mean, approximately the right color wheel, and sure, it's like gelatinous-ish. It's not yogurt. That's all.
It's not quite liquid, not quite solid. Like it's some kind of.
Speaking of yogurt, Kyle, did you see the trailer for the new Spaceballs movie?
No.
Apparently, there's going to be a new Spaceballs movie. I'm like, it's like one of my favorite movies of all time, and they're going to do it.
What's Spaceballs?
It's a parody of science fiction that was done by Mel Brooks.
Oh, the parodied Star Wars.
Yeah, among other things, yes, primarily Star Wars, but it includes a lot of references to Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica and Dune. Like, there's got a whole bunch of shit in it.
Okay, at first I was thinking Space Jam, and I was like, I think we already redid Space Jam, but okay, Spaceballs. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I guess I should watch the original.
You should. We should. I wonder how it's held up.
Yeah, but I won't care that much or get as many of the references. Yeah. Okay. There is slingshot, which is an extremely effective napping method, also known as a coffee nap. Drink a coffee or espresso quickly, then immediately go to sleep for 15 to 20 minutes. Waking up right as the caffeine hits your bloodstream makes you feel refreshed and alert.
Okay. I think I've done this accidentally.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You drink coffee and you're like, you know what? I actually wanted a nap.
Well, sometimes I wake up and I go downstairs and I start the coffee. And then I drink the coffee and I say to myself, I do not want to be alive. So I go to bed. I go back to sleep. And then 20-ish minutes later, I'm awake and hate my life slightly less than I did the last time I was conscious.
Oh, yeah, you do this. But it's like, is it still a nap then? Is it a nap if it's still in the morning and you haven't started your day yet?
Well, I also feel like implied in this definition is a certain amount of intentionality that is not present in what I do. So
the accidental slingshot is a different one.
Mm-hmm. That's a sex position.
Yeah. The accidental slingshot. What would
my guess is
position be?
Yeah, it's a sling that's hanging from the ceiling, and the bottom is all strapped in, and the top rails him so hard that he swings around the room and onto a different dick.
That was a nice little twist ending that there's a third person in this situation. I didn't expect that.
It's accidental, Kyle.
I love that. The next definition is tit sling, which is also known as a flopper stopper, a bra.
A bra. Yeah. Okay, great.
There's mudslinging. Can you guess what mudslinging is?
I mean, mudslinging is just like when people are insulting each other on like talk radio or whatever.
Yeah, that was the top definition, but I liked this one better, so I picked this one. The act of fingering a girl's asshole instead of their vagina on accident. Bro. That's not me editorializing. That was the definition.
Okay.
Also, it used the act of fingering a girl's vagina instead of their vagina. We're going gender neutral pronouns on that. Interesting. Can you be a girl and use they, them pronouns? You can, because I'm a boy that uses they, them pronouns sometimes. So you can. Interesting use of gender neutral pronouns here in this definition.
Also, I think that there are a lot of men, not men. I think that there are a lot of penis havers who have never experienced sex with a vagina haver to know they're actually quite close together. Now, I don't know if you could accidentally switch holes, but like they're pretty close together.
Maybe this is like a drunken thing, like a drunken mishap.
Oh, whoops. I'm so drunk because straight guys are obsessed with booty holes, right? Like
that's true.
That's really what it is.
But surprise anal is never good anal.
No, do not surprise somebody with anal.
Nope. There is web slinger, which is
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're fucking your girl and about to come, pull out and shoot it on your hand. Make the Spider-Man web slinging hand and fling it on the girl's face or ass, tits, whatever, while making the web slinging sound.
Great.
Someone could do this to me if they wanted to.
This probably should not be done like without some kind of consent.
Yeah, you got to give a girl a warning. And maybe send her this definition so that she knows what you're talking about when you ask to do it.
How do you feel about web slinging? And she's like, I liked the Tobey Maguire one, I guess.
Yeah.
And then next thing she knows.
Yeah, she's got jizz on her face. Last one is sling lizard.
Oh.
To hog all the time in a sex swing as everyone else lubes up to fist the sling sitter.
Is that a tongue twister?
Yeah. Matthew Perry's brother Larry had a pink canary.
Wow.
I think that's from Bob's Burgers, or I got part of it right. Anyway, yeah, that's sling lizard. And those are all the sling definitions that I could come up with, or that I thought were interesting. There were more, but I only picked the good ones.
You didn't talk about Sling Blade?
Sling Blade was one of the definitions, and I moved along because I don't really know who Sling Blade is or care that much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that guy that married Angelina Jolie.
Mike, that's Brad Pitt.
What? And?
Silly goose. You always get Sling Blade and Brad Pitt mixed up.
I do. I
All I know about Sling Blade is Liz Lemon's impression. I do love these French fried potatoes.
Yeah. And then getting confused for Oprah. Jenna Maroney's
No, you don't, Oprah.
Right, exactly. Oh, God. Okay. Well, you want to talk about the history of slings, Kyle?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here's the history of slings. So when I look at a sling, the way that it's hanging and it makes a little like baskety kind of a part that the bottom lays in, it looks to me like a slingshot. And I really thought that that's what they were named for, like a slingshot, like David and Goliath throwing a slingshot. But that's not right. They're not named after the weapon. They're named after the support meaning of a sling, like you put your arm in a sling.
Okay.
Like you've had surgery or you broke your arm or whatever, and you put it in a sling. But the word sling comes from Old Norse slingva, which means to hurl. So the weapon meaning did come first. And it enters Middle English in the 12th century. And then by the 14th century, it meant loop for lifting heavy objects or supporting heavy objects. And then by 1720, it referred like in the medical sense, like a sling that you wear. Now, depending on who you ask, people seem generally in consensus that sex slings emerged in the 1950s as part of gay leather culture.
So they are gay.
They are gay. That discharged servicemen after World War II formed biker communities in Los Angeles and San Francisco and started doing a bunch of stuff involving leather, and that included slings in these clubs. And they inherited the sling name because they provide suspension and support for sexual positioning. By the 1970s, there were leather bars, including, I'm in San Francisco right now, everybody. In the 1970s, there were leather bars like San Francisco's Toolbox and The Stud that had dedicated sling rooms. So they'd reached that level of popularity that there's like a whole bars dedicated to this apparatus.
I wonder if you need like a passcode to get in the sling room. You know, is it like guarded like that, or could anyone just walk in the sling room and use it whenever they wanted?
My guess is that right around Stonewall, which this is just you know, that era, things were still pretty illegal. And so like if you're going to run an illegal gay bar, you might as well go all out and have some fun, right?
Yeah, let's throw up some slings and see what happens.
Although it does, if the police are going to raid you, that poor bottom has like some work to do to escape.
Help me out! Help me out! Help me out! Everyone leaves. Help me! I gotta get out. Oh.
And then the cops show up and run a train on him.
Hot.
Yeah. So, but straight people definitely also caught on, and not exactly sure how, but some people point to New York leather culture as being how straight people at places like Studio 54 got introduced to the idea, and then they were like, well, we could put her in a sling and enjoy what they're doing, so let's do that too.
Yeah, women have holes that we want to put our penises in. Might as well throw her up on a sling.
Yeah.
That was the hottest description of straight sex I can come up with.
You know, I'm so proud of you because you went for it, you know?
Yep. Why not?
Let's see. So Tom of Finland also comes up a lot because Tom of Finland had all of these hypermasculine drawings and publications and images that really were quite famous, prolific in the gay community, and still are in the 1970s. And slings featured in a lot of Tom of Finland's leather-related content, and that is credited by some for being sort of how the word got out about these things. And then there's like a little bump in the road because of HIV/AIDS and more like scrutiny on safe sex practices. And that's when we start to see more of a market for people to buy their own slings to have at home, because people were going to sex clubs less and they were hooking up with anonymous people less, and that it was driven sort of further underground and into people's garages.
Interesting. Wow. I would never, like, there's so many weird byproducts of HIV/AIDS that you just never would think of unless you do an entire episode on them.
Yep, for sure. And then, you know, we see those sort of kink cultures not go away, but like get sort of suppressed for a while. And then that's when you see like super jacked gym bro gays get more in the zeitgeist because everybody was in the gym so that they could like prove that they didn't have AIDS by being super fit. Because one of the primary symptoms of HIV/AIDS is wasting. Anyway, that's really what I wanted to cover, is just that like most people agree that we have San Francisco leather culture and other queer American cities for how slings got started, and that straight people caught on from us. And that makes sense. I think that all checks out, right? Like,
that feels right.
But yeah, that's what I got history wise.
Cool. Well, I'm going to tell you some tips for sex slings.
Okay. Just the tips. Here we go.
Just the tips. First, because I was trying to figure out if straight people use slings, I want to tell you what Google AI said when I asked it if straight people use sex slings.
Oh, no. Okay.
Slings, particularly in the context of sexual activity, are used by people of various sexual orientations, including straight individuals. They are not exclusive to any specific sexual identity. While the leather community and related practices are heavily documented within the LGBTQ plus community, particularly gay male culture, slings are also utilized outside of this specific subculture. So it's trying to say like all people use slings. And I feel like it did mention the leather subcommunity, which you did. So like there's a little bit of credit there, but like, I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more data on, I don't have any data for this episode. I wish there was some more data on like what percentage of people use sex slings and what's the demographics. Cause I would think it'd be more gay people. But a breakdown of how slings are used. There's BDSM and kink practices. And I think some of these can go hand in hand. There's BDSM and kink practices. There's exploring different sexual positions. There's accessibility and physical limitations, which it said slings can be useful for people with disabilities, including reducing strain, allowing them to engage in a wider array of sexual activities. That is not something I even thought about when I was thinking about slings. So there you go.
I mean, I think Andrew Gerza has talked about that before on our show a little bit, just that like sometimes like just physically positioning your body comes with challenges depending on who you are. And there are a lot of ways to assist the person in having sex. And like all of that checks out. I just never really had made the association either.
Yeah. Yeah. And then lastly, adding excitement and variety. So this, next I'm going to tell you 5 tips for using a sex sling. And this comes from masterclass.com, that website that tries to showcase how they have like big experts on to teach you expert things, had an entire article about sex slings.
Great. Excellent. I love it.
You can learn
good for
humor,
them.
you know,
right?
Why not?
If you're an expert in your field, great.
Go ahead and share that info with us, I guess. So first, start with a basic door sex swing because they are easy to install and cheaper. And you can decide then if you want to invest in a bigger, more expensive rig once you kind of see if you use it, if you like it, what to do next.
I do like a try it before you buy it. Like just buy yourself some dumbbells before you go like making a whole home gym.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Make sure you taste your sling before you eat it. Okay. No, that made sense.
Okay, great.
Number 2, follow the installation instructions carefully.
Yeah.
That seems really critical with especially like hanging something on your door.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not just an IKEA bookshelf that came crashing down when I put books on it that one time.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to share about that here in a little bit.
Ooh, interesting. I already knew that, but I was trying to act like I didn't.
Oh, sorry, Kyle.
Yeah. I see now I did it. I didn't have to say that I already knew that. I could have pretended and my acting would have carried me through the entire thing. Anyway,
what other horrible habits do you think you've picked up from me now that you didn't realize?
Let me list them, starting with number 1. Communicate clearly. This is number 3. Communicate clearly when using a sex sling. Make sure the swinger is comfortable and enjoying themselves.
Okay, swinger is a fun word there.
Which, I mean, anytime we talk about something like sexual or using a specific instrument or doing something kinkier or something with fetish, like anytime one of the tips is communicate effectively. And
right.
It's just, it kind of has to be there, but
it's almost like it's actually important. Like it's a thing that people don't do that they absolutely should.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
a lot of different contexts.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you just have like non-sling sex, you should probably communicate effectively with your partner and make sure everyone's comfortable and enjoying themselves. But number 4, use your momentum. I like this one. Whether the standing partner is using their penis or a strap-on dildo, they can use the momentum of the partner on the swing to achieve deeper penetration and more intense sex. So this is good advice. Use that momentum to swing onto your dick real hard.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if my paraphrase was exactly what they meant, but I'm thinking swing on your dick real hard.
Well, yeah, that can also, yeah. I'll talk to you more about that, I guess, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm worried
injuries,
about
Kyle.
Yep.
There's
I'm worried about what's going to come up in the injuries.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Okay. And last, relax. If you're the swinger, release any tension in your body and let your partner take control, which telling someone to relax has never once helped them actually relax.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess part of when you get in there, that's part of making sure you feel safe and comfortable is so you can let your body relax. And that's part of the fun is giving up control to the other person. So kind of being able to know that's what you're getting into maybe can help prepare for, okay, I need to relax into this and let them do their thing and use my body.
Yep.
As Lady Gaga said, do what you want with my body. Those are all the tips that I have.
Well, those are excellent tips, Kyle, because they really can cause some pretty heinous shit to happen if you don't do them. Okay.
What kind of shit could it cause, Mike?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Are we going to get comments about, like, remember way back in the day with the fisting episode, I talked about like a couple examples of when fisting went wrong because it was funny to me. And someone was like, you're giving it down like a negative view of fisting. Are people going to be like, you're giving a negative view of slings?
I don't think so.
Okay.
At least I don't think that's my point.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. And who knows? If people write in, they write in. It happens every episode. Why would this one be any different? Okay. So, you talked about installation tips. Let's start there.
Yeah.
That really is the most important. And I think people forget that physics are a thing and that gravity works. But the number one problem that people have in their homes when it comes to sex sling installation is they end up putting the load bearing part of the installation into the drywall instead of into a stud or the ceiling joists. Ceiling joists are the best because they're holding your whole fucking house up. They can handle a little more weight.
Is a ceiling joist like the stud of the ceiling?
Yeah, but it's a beam. It's like like a stud in the wall is going to be like a 2x4, right? Like it's not super duper thick, but it's plenty.
But it doesn't have to be thick to get the job done.
Right. That's true. But like there is like if you're going to mount a TV to a wall, you definitely need to put it into the stud that's behind the wall, not just the drywall, or like you're going to tilt your TV someday and it's just going to rip right off the fucking wall.
Yep.
But the problem here is it's not a TV, it's a human being in a very compromising position, probably.
Yep.
When it happens. Let's see. So I didn't know this, but apparently some folks in the BDSM community call hardware stores Dom Depot.
That's good. I've never heard that before either.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. Okay, so I found on Vice a article about some sex injury data. So I'm bringing a little bit of data this time, Kyle.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. And I think that you've talked about the National Electronic Injury Surveillance System report before. It's compiled by the Federal Consumer Product Safety Commission, and it includes nearly 450 sex injuries that they found over 6 years. And they try to like categorize it in different ways so that we can understand it. And
I think I did this once, and I think I searched for butt to find injuries, like butt injuries, like how people, like weird stuff that people did with their butts. If I'm remember, I forget which episode that was, but that's what I remember.
Yep. And people do a lot of things with their butts. Like for instance, there's a man who went to the emergency room with abdominal pain and a foreign body in his anus. He told doctors he had inserted a pencil into his rectum and then had anal sex with the pencil still in there. He was treated and released. But let's talk about sex swings. So some of the stuff that's in this list.
I can't. I have to get over the pencil thing that quickly. That's such a quick snapback into. Okay.
Yeah, I just figured if we lingered too long, it was going to get worse instead of better.
That's true. Lead poisoning. Anyway, okay.
So one sex sling incident that is in here was a woman with a head injury and fractured cervical spine because she basically got swung into a headboard. So you really should, tips when you're installing the thing, make sure that you understand the swinging possibilities of the sling.
How far can this sling? And is there anything in the way of that if it does sling all the way out there?
Yep, absolutely. And the other thing is that like it also impacts the weight rating, right? Like if you weigh 200 pounds and you're just hanging straight down from the ceiling, that's a different level of like physics than swinging back and forth. That's more weight, and you need to have equipment that is rated for heavier loads. Spell load. Let's see. There was a 19-year-old woman who had a installation failure again because it was mounted into drywall. Who apparently went to the dentist. She knocked her teeth out.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something you can fix pretty easily, though.
Yeah,
that's a weird conversation that you have to have with whatever doctor, dentist, whoever. Like, oh, what happened? You have to be like, well, I was hooking up my sex sling.
I don't know if it has anything to do with the sex swing or not, Kyle, but apparently there was a 77-year-old woman that had a claw hammer somehow stuck in her vagina. And she took the bus to the hospital. It's very confusing.
My God.
I don't know why that came up when I was searching sex sling installation problems. Here's what I want to get to, Kyle.
Okay.
First, put a sex sling in your house. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But follow the instructions, like Kyle said in the tips section. Yeah. Make sure that you're connecting it to load-bearing parts of your house that are going to be able to hold up the person doing whatever the activity is that you're doing together. And don't have any shame about it. This stuff is crazy. A lot of people had complications that were caused because of a pattern of delayed treatment because they were embarrassed. So medical professionals continuously have this problem of people eventually present to the emergency room and then they don't tell the doctor what was actually happening because they're embarrassed, or they wait to go in until things get too bad to manage. And like, I get it. Sex is a human thing that there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of taboo to it. But like when it comes to your personal health, if something happens, go to the doctor, go immediately and tell them exactly what was happening, because your health very much can depend on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Doctors have seen all of it. So you're not going to surprise them with anything new, and they're going to figure it out sooner or later. If you lie about it, like they're going to know by like once they take a look, once they start poking around, they're going to figure out that you're lying. So they're going to know one way or another. And it's just whether it's now or whether it's later. So just tell them up front and rip the Band-Aid off and be uncomfortable if you want, but they've seen it all. So you won't be the first person that got a claw hammer stuck in your vagina.
Yep. And emergency rooms, they treat sex-related accidents all the time. In fact, one person said, quote, about twice a week.
Wow.
And data suggests that what month do you think these things happen the most in?
February, Valentine's Day.
That's what everybody guesses. It's July. Don't know why it's July. Happy birthday, America. People get freaky. But like July right now is the month that has the most sex-related injuries in the data. So be extra careful right now.
Happy Sex Injury Month, Mike.
Yeah, happy Sex Injury Month, Kyle. Anyway, that's the like, be careful, kids. That's the be careful, kids segment.
Yeah, good call. I'm going to do an Ask Reddit.
Okay.
And this is something else that I was wondering, like, once I started thinking about it, I was like, why do people do this? Why do people use slings? And then I read, I already read a couple reasons. It's, the BDSM community does it. You can penetrate deeper. You can add excitement and variety. So there's a lot of reasons that you could do it, but I wanted to read this one. To tops, what is appealing of a bottom that's just waiting in a sling? And this was posted to the subreddit Gay by user Fabulous Gamer BXL. And I thought this might be a question you would have as well. Because my suspicion, haven't talked personal stuff. My suspicion is a bottom sitting waiting in a swing, or being the bottom waiting in a swing for people to fuck you, is not like your MO.
I can think of nothing that would work less well for me as a top than the doors unlocked ass up bottom. Like that's not how I'm wired. You are correct.
Yeah. So I thought maybe this would be a Mike question.
No judgment. Well. Not trying to yuck anybody's yum. Not trying to harsh anybody's gig here. Like that. If that's what you're into, if that is how you are wired, if it's the anonymous transactional aspect of it, it isn't a turn off for you, and using a hole is going to get you off, then great, go for it. Yeah. Or if being a hole that's getting used, great. It's just not. I just can't. It's not. How I'm wired.
Yeah. So the description under this question is, so I've seen my share of dark rooms, and you always see at some point that bottom. He's usually older. Sometimes he's not. That's a weird judgment. But he's just waiting there, almost falling asleep in the sling. I don't get it, but to each his own. Thing is, at some point, there's always someone railing him, sometimes several. So what's the appeal? Is it the here's the open for business and show it thing, or is it something else? And here are some of the replies.
Okay. As
someone with avoidant attachment, sex with even less vulnerability sounds good, but I'm a mess, so... Someone replied to that, you're making me want to get a toxic relationship with you. Not someone falling in love on Reddit from an avoidant attachment comment. Maybe this does work for some people because of their avoidant attachment issues. So, that could be one reason.
Yeah, it sort of makes sense. Yeah. I could definitely see that.
And there's a little bit of self-judgment if it doesn't have to be because of any problem. If you like anonymous sex, just like everything, it could mean there's a problem or it could mean there's no problem. Like there's a little bit of self-judgment that I don't know needs to be there.
Yep.
Someone else said, a hole feels nice, and they're offering one with no need for much prep or talking. Not entirely my thing, but I get the appeal, certainly. And that is part of the appeal. Hey, look, I don't have to do the whole back and forth. What are you into? Clearly you're into getting your hole fucked by a top. So, and here you are, so I can just jump right in.
Yep. And ostensibly ready for that, right? There's, probably not a lot of foreplay needed.
Yeah, totally. Someone said, I'm this bottom. I'm 31 and just enjoy tops dropping by and contributing to the load effort. The load effort is a great way to describe it. Whilst I hang in the sling, I won't let I won't let anyone hit it because they're a top though, but if I think they're attractive, I'll be down to receive them. And I could not find what I want to know is, how do you say no if you're like in Steamworks in the sling? How do you say no to a top that comes by? Like that to me seems like a difficult thing. I mean, you could verbally just say no thanks or like wave your hand away or something, but that just seems like a really uncomfortable. Like, I'm an ass up bottom waiting for loads, but I do not accept yours.
Yeah. Maybe like, you know, how you can like wink your butthole like an eye. You just like blink once for yes and blink twice for no.
You just clench up so they can't get in.
Yeah. But also like, yeah. Okay, this is, I hope this isn't slut shamey. It's just like a thing that popped into my brain. Like if that's your scene that you're into, are you that discerning? There's a lot of ass up bottoms who are also like blindfolded, right? And then in which case it's about the feeling of the dick, I suppose, instead of like who it's attached to. Or maybe
there's no load refused.
Yeah, like there's obviously everybody has the right to consent and everybody has the right to say no. I'm just curious what the reasons would be to say no in that scenario, because it seems like that's a say yes to the dress kind of a thing or something like.
Well, this bottom said that they have to be attractive, so that's their like criteria for letting them fuck them. So I just think I guess I don't know the etiquette. Like, if you want to fuck a bottom in a sling and you walk up, do you like hopefully are you like, is it cool? Like, can I stick it in there? But that must be a challenging thing that people with better understanding of the etiquette would know how to do than me.
Yeah.
Someone else said, man, there's a whole other side to gay culture that I haven't even thought of. Haha. So it's interesting for some people. Like, this is what we're talking about is not like every gay person does this. There's some people like this commenter who this is not their norm or their expectation or their understanding of gay culture. So I wanted to like acknowledge that as well. Another person said it's fun / hot to see the line of guys waiting to breed the bottom. Watching and edging, then fucking is hot. But I'm not going to go fuck a sling bottom that's not attractive. Just like any bottom is not going to let anyone fuck them as well. So that's another reason. Like, I think that's hot, seeing a line of tops waiting to all fuck the bottom.
Yeah.
And lastly, someone said it's a power thing for me in either role. If some dude is in a sling, I'll expose and I can just go up and do what I want to him and he'll beg for more. Hot as fuck. If I'm the guy in the sling, that loss of power once I agree to get fucked, that someone is just going to use me like I'm nothing but a hole. Admittedly, I may have issues. And again, this is the second time I saw someone who like had a little self-judgment of their desire for sex. If you like to be an ass up bottom and get fucked by random people, like, I mean, maybe it's worth thinking to yourself, like, is the source of this some kind of issue? Like, do I have attachment issues or do I have some kind of like sex addiction or some kind of issue? But if not, let yourself just enjoy what you enjoy.
Just enjoy what you enjoy. Be into what you're into. Don't be into what you're not. Whatever you do, don't like, it's complicated enough. Don't add self-judgment and shame to it.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, those are some of the reasons people may like the bottom in a sling.
Okay, great. I guess we could do personal last. So, okay, I told you that Kyle, I can't do anything but be me. Okay. I had two tortured segues for this, and that was why I was all up in my feels at the beginning of the show. And I'm going to do the different one than what we planned.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both tortured, though. I'm going to talk to you about the cocktail, the Singapore sling, and slings in general. And then in the Patreon segment, I'm going to talk to you about Shakespeare.
Which I have no idea why you would want to talk to me about Shakespeare other than just you like him. Like, I don't know what relevance it has to this episode. So I'm very eager to hear.
Oh, you should temper that a little bit, I think.
Again, we're trying to sell our Patreon content as something exciting to check out. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. You definitely mean it.
Okay, so so the Singapore Sling. First of all, do you know what a Singapore Sling is?
I do not.
Have you ever had one before?
I doubt it.
Okay, so there's like it originated in the early 20th century, about 1915. So it's one of those classic cocktails that's been around for a bajillion years, and it was initially called the gin sling, and it was the original recipe was 2 parts gin, 1 part cherry brandy, and 1 part each of orange, pineapple, and lime juice.
Oh,
And-
okay. So that's like, I was at first you said gin and I was like gross, and then you added some things to it that maybe I would like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's enough sweet to it that it will cut a lot of. In fact, I think, yeah, I think it's pretty sweet. Although the original less so, because it evolved over time, and for a long time in the United States, a Singapore Sling wasn't that original recipe much at all. It was like gin, some sour mix, and some grenadine. But the gin sling had come from it was as old as 1790, but the Singapore Sling specifically was invented at Raffles Hotel at the Long Bar sometime between 1899 and 1915 by Chinese bartender Ngam Tong Boon. Now, the reason I wanted to actually talk about this, though, is the connection to Singapore's LGBTQ community. So, the Singapore Sling, by the way, the place that invented it is the Raffles Hotel, and apparently 70% of the drinks that they sell at that bar are Singapore Slings, because it's like they've made it that's their thing. It's about $15 million in Singapore Slings every year.
Jesus Christ. I wonder if you're a bartender, is that nice or is that annoying? Is that like, oh, I have to make the same drink over and over again? Or is it like, I know what I'm making. I walk into work and I know what I'm going to make every day.
Yeah. Well, and you probably like, I don't know, have a bunch of them already ready. Like, do you just make bucket loads of it like, in advance? So Singapore's gay bars are all on Neil Road, and a lot of them serve Singapore Slings, but there are apparently there's culture around the Singapore Sling in the gayborhood there in Singapore. Famously in Singapore, it was illegal to be gay for a long, long time. They just repealed their anti-sodomy provisions in 2023. So like, it's only recently been even okay to have gay sex in Singapore. But there are gay bars who hosted Singapore Sling tasting sessions as fundraisers for a lot of their work to get all of this fixed. And apparently drag queens have incorporated the drink into their acts. Yeah, it's just something that like the Singapore gay scene has embraced the Singapore Sling as like the de facto drink of gays there. It's like the vodka soda for Singapore.
Yeah, we talked about whether a drink was gay by, I think you came up with the rule is like, if it has more than 2 ingredients in it, it becomes a gay drink, which I really like that rule. And this has way more than 2 ingredients. So this seems like a gay drink for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that's enough about that. That's the Singapore Sling. And like I said, I'm going to talk about Shakespeare a little bit in the Patreon segment. Going back to the sex slings though, Kyle.
Yeah, let's keep talking about sex slings.
I have never been in one. I've never topped one that was in one. I have seen some, obviously. I believe I have maybe grabbed the chain of one in the past, but it's just not in my wheelhouse. And I think for a lot of the reasons that we were just talking about, that like it tends to be a more like anonymous scene, more transactional scene, and it's just kind of not my thing. And we've been talking about maybe putting one in the basement at the new house. So that, I think, one in my own home, which I will be sure to install correctly per your tips. But that seems like something that I might be able to enjoy. So
yeah, I think when we're talking about like the anonymous scene and, you know, having tops lined up and all that kind of stuff, that's more like a sling in like a bar or a bathhouse, not one in the privacy of your home where you can, just like any sexual encounter, get to decide who you let in and who you let in.
Yep. Exactly. But that's my sort of, I don't know. I assume you've been in one like recently.
Just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it. Yeah, I have a friends with benefits that we're not really friends. It's just a fuck buddy. I don't know why I have to make it sound all nice. I have a fuck buddy that has a sling in his bedroom or has a separate sling room. I think
that's hot.
I don't know if it's actually his bedroom or if it's just a fuck room, but yeah. So like as recently as it wasn't Pride, it was like the week before Pride or something, I was in his bedroom and he got in his sling. Usually if like we live pretty close, so we like trade off going to my place or going to his. And whenever I go to his place, generally I will get in the sling for at least part of it. And yeah, it's not, I think it doesn't have all those things that we talked about. It's, you know, it's with a hookup that I know have hooked up with before, know that is enjoy the sex and enjoy him. And it's fun. And I was like trying to think through what, like before looking up info for this episode, I was like, why do people get in slings? I've done it. And why do people get in slings? But I think it does, like I said before, like add some excitement, lets you try different positions. That's kind of a kink thing, makes you feel a little dirty in a hot way. But I have not gotten in a sling in a bathhouse before. That to me, for the reasons that I was talking about, like I think I'd be really bad at navigating the like, no, like I'm here in this sling but don't want you to fuck me. I think I'd be really bad at that because I am not one of those like no load refuse kind of people. I definitely refuse loads and do it with a lot of discretion. So I don't know. It sounds like a hot idea and I wish I could be better at navigating that situation because I think I'm missing out on something that I would enjoy and something hot because I'm bad at saying no to people.
Well, did you make it sad at the end? Is that...
Did I make the episode about slings sad? That's a feat. That's an accomplishment.
I wanted to ask you about like, do you make him go away in the other room while you like get in it? Because it seems hard to do gracefully or sexily. Like, no,
I hop in like a dainty flower. I jump and then I float down right into the sling very comfortably.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
he helps me into it.
Oh, okay.
He helps like me lock my feet into the little loops.
Oh, that's teamwork. I love it.
Yeah.
I just literally was like, I don't have no idea how one would do it gracefully or in a way that like, now I've made you self-conscious or something.
No, I'm 6'3". There's nothing that I do with grace. No one describes me as graceful. So I can't imagine that this is any different. And like getting out, like they help you down. That's a nice thing that your top can do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, did we do it? We talked about slings a bunch.
We talked about slings a whole bunch. I'm sure there are other kinds of slings that we didn't mention that people are going to get angry at, but we talked about the most important thing, which is a sex sling. Should this episode just be called Sex Slings? No, because you talked about that cocktail. So we need it to be called, and I talked about other kinds of slings in my Urban Dictionary section. Never mind. Okay. It's slings.
Great. See, it's okay to say what's going on in your brain out loud on the podcast.
But I just did that. I can cut that entire thing because that was highly unnecessary and added nothing to the conversation because I just went in a circle.
Do you remember that stripper at our bachelor party she was in a sling?
I do not.
For my gay wedding, you came on the bachelor party and we went to a titty bar and one of the strippers, she was in a sling and she gave us a lap dance. I'm having
do
a
not
flashback.
remember that.
I think her name was Kay. And then she was like, "You guys are gay, right?" I was like, we were like, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, great. Well, your friend bought you a lap dance, so let's go." And then we just talked about Doctor Who the whole time.
That's money well spent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry. Okay. We did it. We talked about slings.
We talked about
Don't be mad.
slings. Okay.
People are always mad. It's fine.
Yeah.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Great. Ooh, swing, swing, swing. What was that band?
All American Rejects.
Yeah, put it on the list. Okay, let's take a break.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest. But first, hey, everybody.
Hey.
We have so much to talk about.
We do. There's so much going on.
I don't know where to start. So the cruise, let's think about going on the cruise. That's in 2027, February 7th through 14th. We're going to the Mexican Riviera with the Derek and Remain people, gayishpodcast.com/cruise. While you're there, buy a book. Read it on the cruise, gayishpodcast.com/book.
Oh, nice.
What else? What else, Kyle?
We are up for the podcast awards again. If you want to help us come a little bit closer to winning this time, go to podcastawards.com and you can vote in the LGBT section.
Yeah, they're dead to me, but yeah, let's try it. Let's try it one more time, just in case.
You have to vote by the end of July. So make sure to do it this month.
Do it this month.
And then also our Patreon happy hour in August has changed dates from Wednesday. It is now on Tuesday, August 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are combining it with our 450th episode live stream. So we are live streaming for our Patreon members. We will be answering questions. If you have any questions, please send them in advance to gayishpodcast +450 at gmail.com. And we will also answer some questions live if we have some time. So make sure you update your calendars, send us your questions, and get ready for a fun time on Tuesday.
Yeah, do it. Bring it.
Do it. Yeah.
Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on social media at Gayish Podcast, or you can find our Discord or our Facebook group or all the other ways you can contact us at gayishpodcast.com/contact.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com, or send those 450th questions to gayishpodcast.com. Nope. Gayishpodcast +450 at gmail.com.
Yeah. And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Okay, let's do our gayest and straightest.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll go first.
Okay.
So my gayest is douching, and the water came back clear the very first time.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It felt like my butthole was singing me praises. It was a joyous occasion.
A 4th of July miracle. Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America. The water runs clean for all of us. And then my straightest is Pride was just last weekend for us. And I did not go to any of the block parties. So
Okay.
not attending any of the block parties is my straightest.
Great. Yeah. Stayed home.
How about you?
How about me? Well, the straightest thing about me this week was I officiated a wedding in Scotland, and I think that there's the presumption that like you're straight when you're in a straight wedding, but also like I wrote a couple of rugby jokes and put them in my like the ceremony had rugby references, which I don't watch rugby. I don't know anything about rugby, but I put them in there.
Nice.
And then the gayest thing about me was this, like, okay, I wore a kilt. They asked if I would wear a kilt like the groomsmen. And so rented one, and then boyfriend also rented one. But I think kilt time at the wedding was my gayest last time. So I'll just say how deeply uncomfortable I was at how hot the groomsmen were.
Because they had kilts on?
Stupid hot. And one of them is a professional rugby player.
Oh.
The groom's brother. Oh my God. It just like, you can't like, you know, that person's just like so hot that you can't not look at them. And then you're afraid at any second you're going to get caught looking at them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll show you a picture when I get back.
Okay. Didn't you post a picture of you in a kilt to our Gayish Instagram?
I sure did. And then I feel bad because I think that like Derek does all of this work. He works really, really hard. And then I just have to post like the worst post ever. And people like it because it has like one of our faces in it.
That's what gets likes is pictures of us. So we got to keep that train rolling. Keep posting pictures of you in kilts.
I guess so. I guess so. Well, that was lovely. We have a listener's Gayest and Straightest. This time it is from that guy from that one place.
Paul Donovan from the UK.
Yep.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Kyle. It's Paul Donovan from the UK, calling with my Gayest and Straightest. So my gayest this week was listening to the Gayish podcast while doing a rather desperate chest workout at my hotel gym so I could look pumped when wearing my corporate's t-shirt at Zurich Pride. My straightest was how I actually looked in my corporate's t-shirt at Zurich Pride. Happy Pride Month, guys. Bye.
I mean, I do, like, every time I wear anything that has my company's logo on it, I feel pretty straight.
I'm sure you looked great in your corporate t-shirt.
I'm sure you did too. Thank you for your Gayest and Straightest. Really appreciate it. Send in yours, everybody.
Yeah, we need more.
We always need more. We love them.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody currently in a sling listening.
If you're currently in a sling, let us know, because that's hot. And also, I want to thank their super gap bridgers. Thank you to Locomotive, Simon Strachey, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squaggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crawley, Stephen Porch, Yost Osel, Jonathan Montanius, Forrest Nail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Zania, Michael Covington, Thomas B., Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, Jerome York, and Cian and Javi. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See ya.
See you next week. Are you there?
I am there.
Okay,
I just had nothing to say.
Great. Okay. Excellent.